So, which Megazord reigns supreme? And which one is the best for you? Find out in the Zendersons Show. Alright, hi guys, for today we are going to do comparison of the US Deluxe Megazord, the Bandai Legacy Megazord, as well as the Hasbro Megazord. So, which one is the best for you? I mean, we are going to consider the price range, the looks, and as well as the articulations. So, let's get to it. We should start with this, the OG. Let's move the Legacy to the back. Okay, the OG is here. Now mine is not complete. It's missing the cannons at the back here, as well as the power sword. And it is yellow. I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually quite yellowed. Over the years, toys tend to turn to yellow, so yeah, you can actually use a solution with hydrogen peroxide as the active agent, and you can actually restore back the toys to the normal color. But yeah, I'm going to do that in another video. So for today we are going to talk about this. And yes, this chunky boy is the OG. I mean, for the US one. If you don't know how to tell the difference between the US Deluxe Megazord and the Japan DX Megazord, it's actually the Mammoth or Mega, I don't know, Mammoth, I guess. The M that's on the shoulder there is different, if you can see, with the Hasbro as well as the Legacy one. So yeah, close-up look on that. Anyway, so other than that, I think if you want to tell, it's the US one, you tend to see this lightning, thunder. Oops, Triceratops horn came out. Lightning and thunder all over the Zord. It's on the thigh of the T-Rex there. So anyway, it is huge, and it's kind of looks like the TV show. I mean the suit in the TV show, because it's bulky, but at the same time it doesn't. And of course, in terms of weight, this is really heavy. It's really huge. And the difference between the DX, Hasbro, and Legacy, you can see at the back here, the tail. The tail flips over there, while the Hasbro and the Legacy one doesn't. It's just one straight piece. Same goes for the Hasbro one. Now, I had this when I was small, and I would have to say it is not very durable, because the horns comes out, and I think mine was missing the tooth already. And then it's not only that, when this thing comes out very easily without any effort at all. I mean, like, there you go. And also this hat tends to come out. I mean, like, I know a few friends of mine, like, they have like the head comes out and broken, and you left with a broken pterodactyl, as well as here, this part always comes out. I remember this is the first thing that comes out from mine when I was small. Also, the tusk comes out as well very easily, and those tend to go missing after a while. Is it playable? Yeah, it is, but it's not durable. So if you were to give this chunky boy to your kid, expect it to be broken after a while. I mean, like, after a few weeks or so. So yeah, it's not for playing right now. It's not for playing because it's more of a collector piece. So yeah, that's it for the Deluxe Megazord. I think we can go to the Hasbro Megazord next. Oh no, we go to the Legacy one first. There you go. So this one is the version 1 of the Legacy Megazord that came out in 2013. Looks good. It looks much better. I mean, it looks smaller. It's a bit smaller than the Deluxe one, but that's a good thing about it. Because it's small, it looks better, proportionate. But the thing about this is the issue when you put on the Dragon Zord on top. That's the issue with the version 1 of the Legacy Megazord. They tend to, when you put the Dragon Zord on top, it takes very little effort to make him go down like that. I wasn't even trying, you know. I just put my one finger like that. There you go. That's just weight of my one finger. Imagine the Dragon Zord on top of that. So they did fix it in the version 2, but most people already got the version 1, so they didn't collect for the version 2. If I'm not mistaken, the version 2 right now is quite sought after. Oh, I didn't break anything there. So anyway, it looks good. Die cast part, everything feels solid. Is it meant for playing? No, of course not. This one is a collector piece. The die cast metal, I mean, can you imagine like a kid throwing this to your face? It would hurt a lot. So anyway, the looks is really good. I mean, it's shiny, and the proportion is nice. Articulation wise, it's the same as the Deluxe one. You cannot really do much because it is based off the same design, just that slimmed down a little. It is a really good piece to have on your shelf to display. There are a few differences than the Deluxe one, which is like there's clicks on the arm here, shoulder, that you don't have here. And the shoulder here is really loose already, and also the Triceratops horn there. Okay, right now the price for Bandai Legacy Megazord showed up. I mean, back in January in Malaysia, thank you. Back in January in Malaysia, it was sold for 400 ringgit, and now you can see people selling it for 1,000 ringgit, and I've seen new one going for 1,005, which it really shot up in price. So if you haven't got it, I think you should get it now, because I think the price will just go up because of the demand, and there's no supply, not much supply going on for the Legacy Megazord. So okay, let's talk about the Hasbro one. So let's just move this. Hasbro Megazord. Here it is. So if you haven't noticed, comparing side by side with the other two, it looks cheap. It's kind of cheap. And comparing with the rest, it feels cheap as well. But if you don't have these two to compare it to, I would say you would think that this is pretty decent, the weight. And this is made for kids to be play with. The horns so far doesn't come out. I let my son play with it, and everything is still intact, and he is playing very rough and just take his Goldar and like bash them together. And another note that I would like to mention is, hold on, let me get my Goldar here. This 8-inch Goldar, the size wise is not bad. I mean, if you have the Hasbro one, it's pretty much about the same size as the show, where the Megazord is a little bit taller than Goldar. So it works. If you have the vintage one, vintage monsters, I would say the scaling works with the Hasbro one. I mean, previously when I was small, I played Goldar with the DX one. It doesn't work. I mean, like, okay, let's see that. No, it doesn't work. And this is like the biggest monster that I have previously. I mean, of course, Lord Zed is a little bit taller, but that's because of the Z on top of this crown thingy there. But yeah, my son plays Goldar with this Megazord and just whack all over and like that, and everything stays intact. I mean, for sure, like the cannon goes here and there, but everything stays intact. Like I said just now, when you see Goldar here with the DX, it doesn't look menacing, but compare it side by side with the Hasbro, it is a formidable foe. I mean, like, even in the show, Goldar is a little bit shorter than the Megazord, so for me it works. And this thing has more articulation than these two. For example, let's take this out first. For example, you can move the arm here like so, where these two, no, you cannot do anything with it. I mean, like, the die cast metal part here just doesn't work. I mean, doesn't allow you to do anything other than put the sword up and bend the elbow a bit. That's it. But here, the Hasbro one, you can actually do a lot of poses. I mean, you can do like, let me try this, like that. That is cool. I mean, you cannot turn the head, that's the bad thing about it, but you can make the Zord do that, do this kind of pose. And also to note, the hips here, they turn as well. So you got, and you can spread the legs here. You cannot do that on the Legacy, as well as the DX here. So this is meant to be played. And also, if you unhook the tail here, you can actually turn the waist. So if you want to get a shot like this with your camera, you're able to do so. Yeah, that's a good pose right there. The only bad thing about it is you cannot bend the knee backwards, you know. It's similar to both the others as well. But you can do this. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it is more posable and it is more durable because it's lightweight and the plastic is kind of solid. Never seen well, except for that one time in that pose where I saw this one guy broke the arm here because he was trying to force it open, but that's a technical issue because you can actually just push the snap thingy from the bottom here, then you can unhook the shoulders. So yeah, right now, price wise in Malaysia, this one is going for 210 if you pre-ordered it. Right now it's going for about like 240 for 3 set, which is the Pterodactyl and the Mastodon and Triceratops and the Sabertooth tiger, and then you have the Tyrannosaurus for 240 ringgit, which is not bad. I mean, I've seen single figure for about that price, so it is worth your money. Yes, it is, comparing with these two especially, because like I said, this one shot up in price. If you were to get it loose, I barely see it loose actually. So box, I've seen people selling it at 950, 1000, 1200, 1500. So it shot up in price, and you know, you never know when the price will go down. So if you really want to collect it, I mean, go for it, and go for it right now, because I'm not sure if the price is going to go down. Anyway, there's this version, which is version 1, that you need to look out for, because version 1, actually sorry, version 1 is the one that the legs aren't very strong. They reissue it in 2015 to make the version 2, which have stronger legs. I've seen videos about that online, and I have yet to test mine. I just got one in the mail today, so maybe I'll do another video comparing version 1 and version 2 for that. And this one, this actually price ranges a lot because it is an old figure and the condition varies a lot, because for 20 years, 27 years, a lot of had happened to them, you know, like turns yellow, and then like you have missing pieces and broken pieces. So the price, I would say cheapest I've seen is about 200, but that's like missing one Zord or missing a hand or a leg, something like that. For a complete piece like this, I mean, like near complete without the cannon and the sword. I got it for, yeah, I don't really remember. I think 300 plus. Just still not bad. But I've seen people selling it box upwards to 1,200 as well. That's similar to the legacy one. So yeah, right now if you want to go for affordability, this is your choice. And if you want to give your kid to play, this is your choice as well. I mean, you don't want to spend like 1,200 ringgit, 1,500 ringgit for a toy that you're going to let your kid play. I mean, unless you're like stinking rich. So yeah, good for you. Anyway, I would say the Hasbro one is worth it for if you're looking to get a Megazord, to play with it, to let your kids play with it, to take a photo shoot. I have a friend of mine who, like, he actually painted the gray plastic here with gunmetal, so it looks like metal, you know. So after painting it, it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, like, it looks legit, it looks like premium. So if you want to get like a custom, you want to go custom your Megazord, I would say go for this one as well. Okay, that's it for the comparison. I mean, that's not much to talk about. Well, in the Megazord form, of course. If you want to talk about the Dinosaurs form, let's do that. Okay, so here we have all the T-Rex in their Dinosaur form, and man, if you compare it side by side, you can tell that the US Deluxe one has been around for a while and it's turned yellow. So anyway, from the looks of it, I would say the clear winner here would be the Legacy Megazord. You can see, like, the proportion is nice, but of course close second is the US Deluxe one. Sorry, the tail here is, there you go. Still looks good. I mean, if I were to, you know, restore the color back, I would say the US Deluxe one is on par with the Legacy one. Some people would like the shininess of this diecast, some people won't. To me, it's nice. It is what it is. It's a diecast metal. And for the Hasbro one, it really feels like it's cheap. Like I said before in my Hasbro Megazord review, on its own it feels so cheap. And there's this. It looks like Megazord, just, you know, it's wearing a knight helmet. But the good thing about the Hasbro one, it has a molded cannon. But everything else is, yeah, unless you repaint it, and it might look decent, but it is a more posable dinosaur compared with the other two. So if you go do this, there you go. The other two cannot do that. So for playability and durability, I would say Hasbro still wins on this one. But for aesthetic and looks, these other two are much better than the Hasbro one. So let's move on to the Mastodon. So here are the three mastodons. Of course, right off the bat, you can see that the Hasbro one is really simple looking, and as well as cheap looking. Also feels cheap. But yeah, I mean, there will be like, I'm pretty sure there will be like third-party stickers available for the Hasbro one that will make it look even better. But as of now, and as it is, it's not looking good. Of course, the best looking one, I would say, still goes for the Legacy. And then the old school chunky Mastodon goes second place. But one thing I like about the Hasbro one is you're able to move the head a little bit, you know, like this, and like so. So that's pretty cool, you know. All the rest here, you cannot really do much. Of course, all three of these, unlike the Soul of Chogokin one, have exposed fists on the back. Guess that's it for the Mastodon. Let's go to the Triceratops. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit weird when you separate the three dinosaurs. I mean the Triceratops, because you get the Legacy one and the Hasbro one. It's about the same size. It's really close. See? It's about the same size. Almost. But of course the Hasbro one has a weight. I mean the Legacy one got weight up to it, and the Hasbro one really feels cheap. But I would say that for this one, it goes for the old school chunky boy, because it just looks good on its own. In Megazord form, maybe it will go to the the Legacy one, but on its own, I would say this US Deluxe Megazord is the clear winner for this one. It looks much better, as well as also got more articulation here with the cannon, where you have the Hasbro one. Oh, sorry, that's not a good angle. I mean the Hasbro one here and the Legacy one is just plain like that. You cannot really move the cannon and whatnot. So this one goes to the US Deluxe one. Let's move on to the Sabertooth Tigers, shall we? Okay, here are the Sabertooth Tigers, and I would say that the Hasbro one and the Legacy one is close in terms of size, like the Triceratops, but there's a clear difference with the legs here. Here you have like exposed part there, but over here you got it covered, and also you got colored tires here, where the Hasbro one doesn't come colored. You can of course fix that by custom painting it on your own. But yeah, this one I would say it's falling down on its own. I'm not sure why it's not. It just gave up. So Hasbro is, in terms of dinosaurs on its own, Hasbro hasn't win anything. Okay, for these two, this one I would say I would give it to the Legacy one. It looks nicer, sleeker. And this one is chunky. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is really good as well. Maybe we have a draw here. Sabertooth Tiger, I think the Legacy one and the US Deluxe one is a tie for me. Let's go to the last one, the Pterodactyl. Okay, last but not least are the Pterodactyls. So we have the Legacy one here, the US Deluxe one, and then the Hasbro one. Okay, so these two are very similar, but then you see the Legacy's wings are a little short compared to the Hasbro one. I think the Hasbro one is the best looking one here in terms of the wings, you know, and the size. And in terms of details, I would say it goes for the US Deluxe one because you have different colors there and all. So yeah, I would say this one, the winner, I would say goes for the US Deluxe one. Okay, now final verdict. I would say each of them have their own special, you know, uniqueness to them. I wouldn't say one is better than the other one, because this one you can use, the Hasbro one you can use for playing, you know, and also poses and photo shoot. And this one is, it just looks good on your shelf. And this one, of course, it's purely awesomeness, because you got Chunky Boy here that's fuel your nostalgia, especially if you have one when you're small. So in the end, which one of them reigns supreme? I guess all of them. Of course, you can go according to your budget. If you're a budget collector, you can go for the Hasbro one. If you're going for a premium price and look, you can go for the Legacy. And if you're for nostalgia and vintage, of course you can go for this Chunky Boy here. So in the end, yeah, it's totally up to you. Sorry for the anticlimactic, but it is what it is. I mean, each Zords have their own unique features. If you ask me my personal favorite, I would say the Legacy one. For now. I have yet to get the Soul of Chogokin one. That might be my favorite afterwards, but right now, Legacy is my favorite. Right guys, thanks for watching. These figures get 2 thumbs up from me. 2 thumbs up from me. And if you're hesitant in starting collecting for Megazords, I would say go for the Hasbro one first. Then maybe it will trigger more nostalgia for you to fuel your collection. So anyway, that's it from me. Thanks guys for watching till the end here, and I hope you guys like the video. Do subscribe to my channel for more Power Rangers content as well as pop culture stuff. And that's all. Thanks for watching.